Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going back to a series that I haven't done for a while, concept cars versus the real thing. Basically for these videos I look at a concept car and then compare that concept to the real model that actually got released for us consumers to buy. As you can tell by the title, today's focus is the Dodge Avenger. The Avenger is an interesting one because the concept actually came after the first Avenger Coupe model from 1995 to 2000, but before the real sedan from 2007 to 2014. So I'll briefly talk about the coupe and then we'll jump into the concept details and finally the real thing that came out. Feel free to skip to any part, I'll post the times in the description for that. The first 4 episodes in this series have so far covered the Dodge Charger, Challenger, Magnum, and Chrysler 300, so make sure to check the description for those videos if you're interested. Also, if you are interested in the Dodge Avenger, make sure to check out my video looking at the history of the car, various flaws, and why it got cancelled. Okay, let's get on with this video. So the 2003 Dodge Avenger made its first appearance at the North American Auto Show in Detroit in January of 2003. The last Avenger we had seen was the Dodge Avenger Coupe, which was around from the 1995 to 2000 model years, so it had been a good 3 years without an Avenger, and many thought that this concept might revive the Avenger name again, albeit with a very different style. So before we get into this awesome looking Avenger concept, let's look at the coupe. So this coupe was a joint venture between Chrysler Corporation and Mitsubishi Motors, and the car was built on a version of the Mitsubishi Galant. Although the Avenger Coupe looked very good, there were only 2 models, the Highline base version and the ES, and many people felt that they were underpowered. The ES had a 2.5 liter V6 making 155 horsepower and 161 pound-feet of torque, and that went up to 163 and 170 by 1996, and the base model got a 4-cylinder engine. Overall, the Highline had a 0 to 60 of 9.9 seconds, and the ES could do it a little bit faster in 9.2 seconds. And this car was cancelled after 2000 and replaced with the Dodge Stratus Coupe in 2001. So after that Avenger Coupe was cancelled in 2000, by the time 2003 rolled around, Dodge had several cars out, not including trucks or SUVs, such as the Viper, Neon, Stratus, and Intrepid, but 3 of these would get cancelled in the upcoming 2 to 3 years. The 2003 Avenger concept introduced a new possibility for Dodge. The whole idea behind this unique design at the time was to merge European rally car performance and style with the convenience and capability of American SUVs. And we got some more insight about this concept from Trevor Creed, who was the Senior Vice President of Design at Chrysler at the time. He said, quote, "In North America, such vehicles are usually only seen in video games. But why limit someone who has an active lifestyle or just appreciates a vehicle with similar capability to something the size of a traditional SUV?" End quote. So the goal is to give the Avenger agility and size of a regular passenger car, but also give it some extra ride height and stance that are found in many SUVs. To me it looks like Dodge was trying to jump on board the crossover hype, as many designs were shifting this way at the time. Although this was inspired by Euro rally cars, the Avenger concept did end up having 4 doors to go along with its muscular fenders, body lines, and a wide track, which gave it a very menacing stance. And Dodge obviously still kept their tough and masculine image with the design, and you can definitely tell that it is a Dodge. The concept was painted in adrenaline red pearl coat, which makes the car stand out even more. The front of the car had a classic iteration of the Dodge Crosshair grille at this time, which is mid-2000s, just this one seemed a bit smaller than normal. The hood rises up in the middle, and the rear doors open 90 degrees so passengers could enter and exit the vehicle easier or fit larger items inside, as they did want to add more agility and utility to the vehicle. The hatch at the back also gave the Avenger more flexibility and versatility that Dodge was going for. There's also some other features to accent the design, like satin silver rings around the mirrors, silver exhaust tips, black headlight bezels, and cool looking headlights that almost look like halo lights, with silver and amber LEDs. And the taillights are also unique with a very futuristic design. The interior is also rally inspired, where they tried to make a cockpit-like environment for the driver. There aren't many pictures of the inside, but as you can see it's quite an interesting looking place to be. There are many geometric shapes, silver and black metallic accents, an interesting 2-spoke steering wheel design with paddle shifters, and protruding gauges on the instrument cluster, and openings for the heat and AC. The center console area contained armrests and several small storage areas for more utility. The seats featured an exoskeletal design to match the dashboard, and they were all dependent, but there was only 4 of them, so obviously this only seats 4 and not 5. I find that part interesting because Dodge wanted their American capability, but 4 seats seems just a little bit limiting. Either way, the seats came with 4-point built-in safety belts that were meant to resemble racing harnesses like those found in rally cars. The 2 rear seats folded down fully flush with the floor, and Dodge also threw a boombox that was built into the trunk. Another interesting point is the lack of floor mats or carpets. Dodge designers said that there's nothing fuzzy about it when they were talking about the interior, and they're absolutely correct. The flooring was finished in what they called new formula materials, which consisted of two-tone beige and teal textured vinyl with no carpets to be found. Moving on to performance, the Avenger concept got a 3.5-liter V6, which would have been taken from the Intrepid or Chrysler 300M at the time, and the expected power was reasonable, between 232 to 255 horsepower and 241 to 257 pound-feet of torque. The transmission was an A604 4-speed automatic, and the car had all-wheel drive like many other crossovers and SUVs. Dodge experimented by taking away the regular shifter and adding paddle shifters and buttons on the dashboard to shift gears, and the transmission did have manual mode so you could fully utilize those paddle shifters. Dodge also claimed that the fuel economy for this thing would be 22 to 35 mpg, but I'm not sure where they got those numbers from, as this seems overstated. As they did for all their concepts, Dodge stuck some big wide wheels and tires on the Avenger, with 20 by 9 inch rims up front, with 265mm wide tires, and 20 by 10s in the back, with 295s. Unfortunately, the Avenger concept never really took off, and things were quiet for a few years until the Avenger nameplate returned in September 2006 at the Paris Motor Show, when Dodge announced another Dodge Avenger concept car. But this version went straight into production a few years later, in February 2007, and became the 2008 Dodge Avenger model to replace the Dodge Stratus again. On the outside, the real Avenger looked a little bit like its Charger brother, but was totally different from the concept other than the signature Dodge grille. After all, this was a sedan, while the concept was more of an SUV. The real thing also got aggressive headlights, wide flares above the wheels and tires, and much smaller 18-inch tires and rims. The rear of the car is slightly elevated, and there's a stylish body color spoiler that doesn't overdo it, along with chrome dual exhaust tips for some of the V6 models. The interior was also nothing like the cool design that the concept had, as the real thing got more or less the classic Dodge interior, full of cheap plastics, but it was also very functional, with nice features like a chill zone and cooled and heated cup holders. Onto the powertrain, there were several engines offered for the different models. The base engine here was a 2.4-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that was called the World Engine, and this was a joint project between Chrysler, Mitsubishi, and Hyundai. That engine had just 173 horsepower. There was also a 2.7-liter V6 that made 189 horsepower and 191 pound-feet of torque. The only real similarity between the concept and the real thing was that the top-end Avenger models got the 3.5-liter V6, which ended up having 235 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque, so just a little bit under the expected range from the concept. The 4-speed auto from the concept also found its way into some models, although the 3.5 V6 did get a 6-speed automatic with auto stick, so those paddle shifters didn't end up making it. On the production version, there were originally 4 models available: SE, SXT, RT, and RT all-wheel drive. Prices started as low as $18,000 for a bare-bones base model, and rose up to over $26,000 for the top model RT all-wheel drive. And the real Avenger did get a similar all-wheel drive system to the concept, where that system usually is front-wheel drive with 95% power to the front wheels, but it will kick in automatically to prevent wheel spin when necessary. The top-end RT all-wheel drive could go 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds, and hit the quarter mile in 15.5 seconds. Overall, the new Avenger was a success, and Dodge had decent sales, especially after 2011, selling over 540,000 units over the 7 model years. This car provided customers with a smaller option than the Charger, with a 4-cylinder engine and a lot of benefits, and eventually it did get the upgraded 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 too, with better performance. After 2014, Dodge chose to cancel the Avenger as they feared that this car would overlap with the Dart and cannibalize sales, so the Dart and Chrysler 200 ended up living on, sharing the same platform, and the Avenger was left in the dust. As I said in the beginning of this video, I have dedicated a whole video to the topic of why the Avenger was cancelled, so make sure to check that out in the top right corner if you do want more info. To go back and contrast the concept with the production version, when I first saw the concept, I honestly thought it was awesome and would have been absolutely amazing for us customers to have the option to buy that vehicle. I love the muscular stance and the unique look that the Avenger crossover brought. I'm really not sure why Dodge didn't decide to continue with the crossover and went with a sedan instead. Obviously, crossovers have become really popular with high demand from then on until this very day. As we saw, the real thing shared almost nothing with the concept, other than the grille, engine, and transmission. One last interesting thing that I did want to bring up before the end of the video was that some people felt BMW stole this crossover design and used it for their X6, which came out for the 2009 model year. When I did compare the two side by side, as you'll see on screen, they definitely are almost identical, which is really interesting. Eventually, many car manufacturers made crossovers with this design, and Dodge was left out, even though they started out with a great design of their own. Well, that's the end of the video. Which car do you prefer, the concept car or the real Avenger? Let me know down in the comment section below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 5 of this series, and let me know which car I should do next. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel, as I've always got lots of really interesting Mopar content and topics to talk about, and I'm always open to suggestions from you guys for new videos. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.